Hello everyone, it's Courtney, the Emmy Lion. Um, I've got you balanced on a jar leaning against a candlestick. It's kind of a precarious situation, so we'll pray this doesn't fall over while I'm speaking. Anyway, well, first of all, happy Resurrection Sunday. I hope all you guys are having a great day. It's a beautiful day here in East Tennessee. I think it's supposed to be close to 80 degrees. So spring is definitely here. Everything's looking so pretty, and I hope that I hope it's pretty where you are too, and I hope you get to enjoy time with friends or family today, and just really enjoy this this wonderful Easter Sunday. Okay. Um, the last time we spoke, and I'm sorry it's been so long. I didn't mean for 2 weeks to go by. I've had some up and downs. So the last time we spoke, I was in right in the throes of an ME crash, and I came out of that I think the next day. So I was down for I think like 2 or 3 days. The day following that video, I actually got back on my feet and I shot a video. It was a video application for a documentary. The documentary is called Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet. And that is Carrie over at Homestead How. This is his project. And I thought I would throw my hat in the ring because the whole reason I started this channel was to get the word out about MECFS, to give a message of hope to the invisibly ill about the carnivore way of eating. And so, yeah, I did that. And then, like the next day or two, I messed up again. I overdid it, and I kind of was back down for a couple of days. But, I'm trying to figure out where my new limitations are. I'm just in uncharted territory, and it's a good thing that I have so much more energy because it makes me feel like I can do a lot of things. But sometimes I do the thing and realize, no, you're not ready to do that thing. I end up back in PEM, which is post-exertional malaise. It's the hallmark symptom of MECFS. And so as long as I'm overdoing it and ending up in PEM, that's not a good thing. PEM is bad. It kind of, well, Ron Davis with the Stanford research team is kind of hypothesizing that each time you crash, each time you go through PEM, you're kind of restarting the illness. You're like restarting the disease all over again. Oh my God. And so I don't know if that's true, but that's a hypothesis that they've got out. So really important not to overdo it and not to crash. When I started Carnivore, my goal was to go slow and steady and not crash. Try to make it a year and not crash. Well, at this point, it's been impossible for me because I crash so easily. But since starting Carnivore, I've had more energy, I've got a longer leash, and I'm not crashing as often. When I do crash, I'm not down as long. So, that's promising right there. That is a miracle right there. Also, since we last spoke, I hit my 90-day carniversary. So this past Wednesday was 90 days. And, guys, I'm thrilled with the results. My progress has not been linear, and I'm not 100% magically cured in 90 days. And I didn't expect to be. I've been sick for a really long time. As I've stated in previous videos, I've been housebound for the last 7 years. And much of that time I've been bedbound or recliner bound. But I've been carrying MECFS around with me for 24 years. Yeah, 24 years. Now it went from a mild case, then it then it became well, not very severe, but severe. So um, there's diagnostic criteria, and the Mayo Clinic actually has a really good article out, and they list mild, moderate, severe, and very severe. And those that are very severe are pretty much bedbound all the time. They can barely brush their teeth without having a crash. Like they're super, super sick. I've been in the severe category, and the people in that category are housebound and unable to work, and for the most part could only do the activities of daily living, which is, getting dressed, washing up, some of the, like, trying to feed yourself, get basic stuff done around the house. And that's exactly where I fell. And I went from a mild to severe case because I didn't know what I was dealing with, and I was pushing myself too hard. I was trying to get stronger, and I was doing things that normally would work for anything else, but they are completely counterproductive to ME/CFS. And so part of the frustration with that is that if I had known what I was dealing with, if I had been more informed, I wouldn't have done that, and maybe I wouldn't be in the shape that I've been in. Maybe I wouldn't have lost the last 7 years of my life being confined to my house, and then once a week, a car ride to do a grocery, like curbside pickup. You don't even get out of the car. So my house and then my car once a week, that's been my life. And maybe it wouldn't have had to be that way. And I feel pretty confident that it wouldn't have had to be that way if I'd known what I was dealing with. So my biggest motivation in starting this channel was to get the word out about ME/CFS, which is myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome. And again, to let that community and all the invisibly ill, and there's a broad range that falls under invisibly ill, to let people in that community know that there just might be hope with the carnivore diet. And it looks like I'm going to get a chance to put that out on a larger platform. The people from the documentary, they reached out to me, and they're coming to film me in April. So, yikes. My dog is trying to eat a wasp. Oh my gosh. Anyway, they're coming to film me in April, and guys, say a little prayer for me. I'm super nervous about it. If I think too hard about it, my stomach gets all twisty and in knots. So I'm trying not to think too hard about it. I'm trying not to think too far ahead, and just, one day at a time. And Carrie seems like a really laid back guy, so I'm just going to kind of pretend like I'm talking to a friend and try to forget that the camera's there, and all that good stuff, and try to get through it and not bungle it up. I don't want to bungle things up. This is an opportunity to really get the word out there, and that's my whole goal. I'm not a social media person. I really have no motivation to do YouTube and be like a influencer or anything like that. I'm not too concerned with any of that. I just want people to know that there's hope. And I want them to know that there's hope because the suicide rate among the invisibly ill is pretty high. The ignorance level among healthcare providers is super high. And I am not saying ignorant in a derogatory way, just the technical meaning of not knowing. And then, it's just so frustrating for the people with the disease because you're just devastated. Your health is crumbling physically, you're crumbling. And then if doctors continually tell you that you're fine, spouses and friends kind of start to believe the doctors, and then your support systems start crumbling. You're not able to work, so your financial stability starts crumbling. Everything just starts crumbling right underneath your feet, and I've been very fortunate that my husband has never questioned me. He's been immensely supportive of me, and the moment that I had to stop working, he stepped up. He stepped up and took what he was doing to another level. He started his own company, and he hustled, 16-hour days, time away from home and on the road, juggling that, taking on, well, we had a rental property that was in really rough shape. It's been a real project. And so he's been the muscle behind that as well. I'm kind of the abstract creative thinker, and so it's not like I don't participate. I'm the idea person, really, but he's the muscle. He's the one that is out there getting it, sweating, breaking his back, crawling on his knees, and I'm so thankful to him, and I owe him everything. He has absolutely made sure that I've had everything I've needed and most of what I've wanted, and I'm so grateful to him. The sad thing is that a lot of people in my shoes don't have that support. They have a spouse that leaves them because maybe they don't believe them, or maybe the spouse has become too high maintenance, and maybe they think, well, this isn't what I signed up for. And actually, it is what you signed up for, for better or for worse, sickness and in health. Those vows either mean everything or they mean nothing, by the way. So a lot of people get left, and so not only have they lost their ability to work and make an income, their spouses leave them and they end up with nothing. And then friends fall out of your life, and then you have family members that question you. Because, honestly, when you've seen multiple doctors and the doctors go, well, your labs look fine, you're fine, people start going, really, is it all the doctors that are wrong? You sure it's not you? And that even gets in your own head too, and you're like, is it me? Am I crazy? Gosh. I did that. I've been through a lot in my life, and I thought, well, am I like, surely not, but am I like crazy? Is this manifesting like physically? Is my stress manifesting physically in this bewildering array of symptoms? Surely not. But okay, maybe that's the case. So I just thought, act normal and press on and push yourself, exercise, get stronger. And like I said in a previous video, that works for most things. Not for ME/CFS. It makes you worse. It damages you because our energy metabolism is messed up. And when we try to do things like that, our system is flooded with, reactive oxygen species and nitric oxide, I think is what it is. So it's really inflammatory. It goes around, like a ping pong ball, causing all kinds of damage. Lactic acid builds up. Lactic acid builds up in the brain. So we've got all this neuroinflammation. So, it's just so frustrating. So out of me trying to like prove to myself, you're not crazy and you can get over this, I made myself worse. And I don't want that to happen to other people, because I've been carrying around ME/CFS for 24 years, but it was mild. I could work full time. I could have some degree of a social life. It seemed like I was having like some major health crisis once or twice a year, and we never could put our finger on it. I'd end up in the hospital or not able to work for 2 weeks. It's like my body would just completely shut down, and I didn't know how to explain that to people. And what I know now is that was an ME crash. They were just fewer and farther between. I could do so much more because it was a mild case. I went from mild to severe. Part of that, I think, was the job that I was working night shift in a hospital, extremely busy, extremely stressful, not able to sleep, trying to push myself to raise a garden and can what I raised, and, trying to eat healthy and clean, and trying to be prepared for things that can go wrong. We live out in the country, and it's not unusual for us to go several days without power if we've had a bad storm. Probably about this time last year, we had a terrible storm come through. It knocked down about 15 trees in my driveway alone, and it took down the power lines. My husband was out of town, somewhere far away. I think he was in Louisiana. It was like 12 hours away. And I was stuck. I couldn't even get in the car and leave, because the trees were down and I had a live power line down. So even if the trees weren't down, so I was stuck here. And you have to be prepared for things like that. Snow has caused us to be in a similar situation. So, I'm not going to get off on that tangent, but it's always good to know that you can survive for some degree of time if you can't, if the power's out and you can't get out, especially for someone like me who is sick. It's not like I could have hiked out, I guess if I was healthy, I could have just like hiked out of here. But that wasn't an option for me because I've been so disabled. So, thankfully I had things. That was a tangent, and I don't remember where I was going with that or why I got off on that subject. Oh, canning. So gardening is physically intensive, and working as a nurse on a hospital floor is very physically laborious, and it's super stressful. And so my body was I was putting it through more than it could really endure, I think. And then I got Lyme disease, and that caused the pot to boil over. That just sent my immune system, like, it just went crazy. And so, then I just ended up with this severe case, and it's hard to like untangle all the symptoms. Where does Lyme disease end and fibromyalgia start? And where does fibro end and ME/CFS start? And like I've said on previous videos, the reason I focus on ME/CFS is because it's the debilitating fatigue has been the biggest thing for me to try to overcome. It's been the thing that won't budge. And the hallmark symptom of ME/CFS is something called PEM, post-exertional malaise. It's when all of your symptoms flare up after even the most minor activity. So you can do a physical activity. You can even, it can even flare up from mental activity. So there for a while I was I was co-authoring some educational materials, and researching and spending a few days writing would put me back into PEM. So, and it sounds bizarre, the illness is completely absurd. Doesn't mean it's not real. It's real. And another thing that's really frustrating, and the reason I want to get this message out, is that there's a stigma with ME/CFS. Either healthcare providers have never heard of it, or they think it's psychosocial. They think it's in your head. And that's so frustrating because ME/CFS has been classified as a disease of the nervous system since 1969 by the World Health Organization. The United States CDC also lists it as a disease of the brain. So this stuff has been known, and the fact that it's been known as a disease of the nervous system since 1969, and it's still not taught in medical schools, it's still not in medical textbooks, it's not taught in nursing school. It's devastating and completely disabling, and nobody even talks about it. It's only fairly recently that there's any amount of research. The research money just hasn't been there because it hasn't been taken seriously. So, I've been speaking to the invisibly ill, and I want to welcome in, if any of you are COVID long haulers, I want to welcome you in too. A lot of the recent research is saying that long COVID and ME/CFS are pretty much indistinguishable. I think they're the same thing. Sorry, I've got a low power notice there, so I'll start wrapping this thing up. Anyway, I got ME/CFS from a viral infection. Most people can trace it back to a viral infection, some to a bacterial infection, some to a parasitic infection. Some went under anesthesia and had surgery and ended up with ME/CFS. Some went through a great physical trauma and ended up with ME/CFS. So there's not a common pathogen, it doesn't seem, or a common cause. It seems to be your body's reaction to threat, to physical threat, physical stressors. And I don't exactly know what that is. I have my own hypotheses, and I'm not going to get into that today. But anyway, I want to welcome you guys into the fold. And if there's a silver lining to the C virus, one of the silver linings is that it has sparked a lot of curiosity about ME/CFS and has spurred on a lot of research about that. So I'll discuss that in another video. Mayo Clinic has a great article out. It's from the Mayo Clinic proceedings. I think they hit the nail on the head. I'm not sure I could have written it better myself. Just perfect. And maybe in another video I'll try to link that. Maybe I'll link it to this one. I don't know how to do that yet. So anyway, one day I'll try to link that article for you. But anyway, guys, again, 90 plus days on carnivore. Guys, I'm doing great. I'm going to keep on the path, forward progress, and just see where this thing goes. Loving the increase in energy. I still have my ME/CFS limitations. The challenging thing right now is just figuring out where those new limitations are and not crashing up against them and putting myself down in a crash. That's really tricky. I'm in uncharted territory, but that's okay. We're doing it. You know, we're gonna keep going with the carnivore way of eating, and I'm cautiously optimistic again that I'm gonna get so much better. There's a light at the end of this tunnel, and if I can get out of this, by God, I'm gonna get out of it. You know, with the carnivore way of eating, with the help of the good Lord, praying for complete healing every day. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I've got my mother and father coming over for Easter supper. It's been years since I've been able to host a holiday. So this is the first Easter I've hosted. I can't even remember the last time. It's been decades probably. So anyway, going to finish setting my Easter table. I've got to go in here and make some green beans and some homemade biscuits. They're not carnivores, so I've got to make regular food. And I tell you what, most of it doesn't bother me, but those homemade biscuits, I'm a Southern girl, and I make really good homemade Southern biscuits. So hot biscuits covered in butter, are you kidding me? That's going to be tough, but it's fine. I'm not going to fold. I can handle it. I watch my husband eat regular yummy food all the time, and I can handle it. So anyway, keep positive, guys. Just know that your progress it may not always be linear. You may have fumbles and obstacles, and you may fall down. Just don't tarry on that. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, keep going. Be patient with yourself. Have grace with yourself. If you've been super sick, it's going to take time. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to you and where you have been. Okay? Keep your eye on the prize. Imagine where it is that you're trying to go, and just stay motivated. Okay? Stay the course. Hey, hope to talk to you guys soon. Missed you. Sorry it's been so long. But thanks for tuning in. And until next time, this girl is going to keep fighting and eating like a lion. Happy Easter, guys. Bye.